Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and this is another episode of the Funny Farm, known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the Funny Farm.
And welcome back to the Baseball Hut, too. I hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about, we are observers of people where the buses don't roam, folks. We are observers of people that you look at them and there's nothing quite wrong with them, but something quite not right. Now, I have one individual in this video that is not really as crazy. He might be the same person at the fan, WFAN. And then we have somebody that should be retired, quite frankly, and has brought his black cloud back from the abyss in which he went and came back from. But before we get into this video, of course, hit that subscribe button. You want to watch and laugh at the clowns of WFAN. This is the channel for you. I am the only one who's doing this because I know you love it so much. I would mention that my audience is shared by WFAN. And I like making fun of them anyway. I get it, and I make some money. It's great. I would mention and remind you, I do have super thanks. So if you like what I do here, send me a super thanks. Could use a little couple of boosts. We are getting close to Christmas, and I need to get some stuff here for family and friends, and that would be helpful. So here we go. So as you know, if you don't know, the Mets have been owned by a guy named Steve Cohen, and he's one of the richest men in the world, and he's the richest owner in baseball. Now, prior to that, the Mets had Wilpons, Fred, and his son Jeff, who owned the team primarily since 2003 until 2020. And for that time, particularly WFAN, some of the personalities there have done nothing but complain about how cheap the Mets are, how cheap the Wilpons are. They don't spend the money properly. They did nothing but complain. That was one of the complaints. One of the other complaints, they always had people that run in the ball club that didn't know what they were doing. Those are two complaints. So now, 2020, the Mets and us fans got lucky enough to get the richest owner in baseball, Steve Cohen, and he has spent tons of money. He had the highest payroll last year in baseball history, quite frankly, and he's been spending a lot of money. He gave a big contract to Francisco Lindor, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. He has spent a lot of money. Now, the first year was not very good. They had some injuries. The second year was terrific. Won 101 games. No Met team had ever done that with new ownership. And the third year was a disaster because they were an older team. The mix wasn't right. Now, we fast forward to now. We're now in the offseason. The Mets were never going to get Shohei Ohtani. This sort of shell game the Dodgers pulled, Major League Baseball's not going to look into it, but we got to watch it as fans. Something's fishy in the state of Denmark. I don't care what anybody says. But let's run down what some of the clowns and personalities have said at WFAN, particularly Joe Benigno and Evan Roberts. They used to be partners in the mid-morning show for many, many years, for about 10 years, until Joe retired. And Joe should have stayed retired, okay? Prior to before Joe retired, the Mets were in first place. They were running away with the National League East. He came back, and basically the lead went away, and nothing has gone right for the Mets since he returned. He brought his black cloud with him. And the same thing has gone with the New York Jets, which is this other team. He says he's a fan of these teams, but he carries this black cloud and this negativity, and he's dumped it on our favorite team, America's team, the New York Mets. But here we go. I'm going to read you a couple of things. Let me go to the first thing, because the first thing is important to remember, and this is about Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen has spent a lot of money, but Evan Roberts is not having it. Again, the crux of this video is these are guys that complain the Mets didn't spend money. They had guys running the ball club that weren't doing a good job. They have a guy now spending money, and a guy knows what he's doing, and they're still complaining. These guys must be the most neurotic people I've ever met. I'm a Met fan. I'm not nearly as neurotic as some of these Met fans. So here's from Odyssey.com. Evan, The version of Steve Cohen Mets fans created does not exist, okay? Joey Ohtani is a Dodger, having signed a 10-year deal worth $700 million, while Steve Cohen said the two-way superstar's agent never talked to him about a potential deal with the Mets. Evan finds it unacceptable that Cohen seemingly didn't even try to throw his hat into the ring, and believes it signifies the death of the caricature Mets fans created when Cohen bought the team. You need to push your way into these negotiations. You need to be the character recreated. Okay, let's live with delusion. Evans said, the billionaire who just throws his way into the conversation. Make Ohtani say no. Offer him more money than the Dodgers, and make him publicly say no. They gave $700 million. Come on. Quote, I thought you're the billionaire owner. The point was try. Steve Cohen is a billionaire that I'm glad owns the team. Are you sure about that, Evan? But the vision we had of him was money is no object. Now Steve did say during the season that, he's losing money, So there's a concern of his. Evan wanted to be clear that he's still happy Cohen owns the team and expects to make a major push for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. But Ohtani, the best free agent in baseball history, should have been more aggressively pursued by an owner with Cohen's riches. Quote, there was no effort, Evans said. It was, he didn't want to come here, forget it. The Yankees did that with CC. He would have never come here. I'm thrilled he owns the Mets. Mets are with, I guess, correct. I don't know what the hell he's talking about with CC. I guess, with Sabathia? I don't know. The Mets are without a doubt a big market team, but the character we all created, this character we created, Steve Cohen, the billionaire bully is going to come in and buy everyone he wants. That character is dead. What the hell is he talking about? Ohtani is a weird guy. I think we now understand that. He's a very strange individual. He doesn't want anybody bothering him. He was never coming here. And we talked about that for a year. I talked about it in videos, just sort of talking about it. It was fun to talk about. But he was never coming to the Mets. He wasn't coming to the Yankees or any East Coast team. He likes his little cocoon. He doesn't want the pressure. He wanted to be in Los Angeles. Okay, here we go with Joe Benigno, who was nuts. And now he's complaining about David Stearns. We complained for 30 years on the radio that the Mets had no owner willing to spend, and we've been complaining about bad management. They brought in good management with a great track record. Still not good enough for Joe. After 2 months on the job, David Stearns has brought concerns from Joe Benigno. Joe, go back to the nursing home. Just do us all a favor. Do us all a favor. Retire. It's over. Headline: Joe B has big Steve Cohen, David Stearns concerns. He's going to run the Mets like they're the Brewers. Now, I would mention about the Brewers. They've been in first place a lot since 2015. And he knows how to build a bullpen. David Stearns. The Mets did not land Joey Ohtani as many hoped they would have back when billionaire owner Steve Cohen bought the team and brought in Billy Epler, who courted Ohtani to the Angels as his general manager. Now, that is a concern of mine, that the Mets lost Billy Epler. Because Epler has a strong relationship with the Japanese market and the Korean market. To me, that is a major concern. I said when he was fired or was let go, that was a big problem not having him here as the general manager. So we'll see how it is with Yamamoto, but this is a concern of mine. Instead, the two-way superstars off to the Dodgers on a massive $700 million deal, leaving Joe Benigno frustrated that his team seemingly didn't even make a play for the greatest free agent in baseball history. I'm very down on Cohen, bro. Very, very, very down. The Blue Jays were in the mix for the guy. Come on. Forget about it, Joe. Joe's holding out hope that the Mets will be in play for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but fears the offense will be left relatively unaddressed in the first offseason of David Stearns' tenure. How much of it is the fact that we have this small market general manager who comes in here? I understand Yamamoto, but this guy comes in here, he's going to run the Mets like the Brewers. Are we going after any bats at all? Now, I would mention another concern of mine, but the Brewers had good bullpens, they had good pitching, they had good defense. You do those things, you will win. Okay? And he had very successful teams under rather limited financial constraints. Okay? But again, like I said, this is the kind of insanity. This sort of going back and forth and back and forth that the clowns on the fan go through. They'll complain for 30 years the Mets don't spend money. They get an owner that spends money. And he says he's not going to spend money on every player that comes available. He said that. Then they complain the team isn't run properly, all right? They're being run by a guy that's done a good job in the past. Complain about that. And this is another report on the nervous hospital known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny part.